Good evening. Yesterday we had a introduction to Indian way of time measurement in which we gone through various concepts related with Panchanga, and out of which Var and Tithi are the two concepts which we seen yesterday. Today we are going to see a little bit more about Tithi. In Gregorian system, we have a calendar date, and in calendar date, the format is simple. At midnight, we start with a new date, and like odometer, one which we use in two-wheeler or four-wheelers, a next date appears at midnight of next day, and so on up to 28, 29 or 30 or 31st of month specific. We keep on counting. Most of the calendar systems use this kind of date measure for the dates. Indians have a unique concept called as Tithi. As yesterday we discussed how Tithi is calculated using nakshatras. Today, briefly let's see the example of one particular Tithi. In coming June, on 21st, 22nd and 23rd of June, we have following scenarios. On 23rd at 16:45 noon, Ekadashi starts, when moon is in Vishakha constellation. The day itself have a Ekadashi because at the sunrise time, moon was in 11th constellation from sun. On that particular day or prior to that day, when sun and moon meets on new moon, sun was in Mrugashirsha constellation. So number of constellations counted are from Mrugashirsha. Now at 16:45 on 21st, moon transits into Vishakha constellation and remain in Vishakha constellation till 14:42 of 22nd of June. Naturally, at morning sunrise time, moon is in Vishakha constellation, which is 16th constellation, and Mrugashirsha, which is 5th constellation. Hence, the difference is of 12. That's why it's a Dwadashi. Whole day of 22nd, from sunrise to next morning sunrise of 25th or 23rd, the Tithi will be Dwadashi. Actually, sun is transited into Anuradha constellation. Technically, Ekadashi should end at that particular time, but for common man's convention, and convenience, sunrise to sunset, sunrise to next sunrise, one tithi is considered. Now, as you know, that moon is revolving around sun in a slightly elliptical orbit. And due to this elliptical orbit, sometimes sun is close to earth and sometimes sun is far from the earth. This particular phenomena leads to change in the speed, angular speed of moon. That's why average movement of moon around earth and fast movement of moon around earth and slow movement of moon around earth differs slightly. Due to this, sometime moon required more time to travel one constellation, while sometime moon required less time to travel one constellation. Now some interesting phenomena happens. Look at this particular phenomena. Again, I'm narrating 3 days. Day 1, day 2 and day 3. We have 2 sunrises. Sunrise of day 2 and sunrise of day 3. On day 1, sometime tithi starts. That tithi was the 4th tithi, Chaturthi, which ends after sunrise of day 2. Naturally, at the time of sunrise of day 2, Chaturthi is running. That's why day 2 is labeled as Chaturthi in calendar. Now, after sunrise, after some time, moon rises in a constellation in nakshatra, 5th nakshatra from sun. So the fifth tithi started. This time moon's movement is faster in the sky. Apparently, moon travels more distance, more angle in that day, and 5th tithi gets over before sunrise of day 3. So between 2 sunrises, there is no transit of moon. There are 2 transits of moon from 2 different nakshatras. Nakshatra number 4 to 5, first transit, and nakshatra number 5 to 6 is the second transit. As we know, day 2 is at the sunrise of day 2, moon was in 4th nakshatra. So entire day 2 till the sunrise of day 3, we have Chaturthi. But at sunrise of day 3, sun is in the 6th nakshatra, skipping 5th nakshatra Actually, it traveled through fifth nakshatra, but in fifth nakshatra there was no sunrise. That's why Panchami Tithi is not counted. Day 3 is now we count as Shashti, sixth Tithi. Thus we have Kshay of one particular Tithi. As I said earlier that moon travels sometime fast, sometimes slow, angular travel. Here in this particular case, moon is traveling fast. Now we have another case. Again we have 3 days, day 1, day 2 and day 3. At some time in day 1, moon transit into 4th nakshatra from sun. It remain in 4th nakshatra till some time prior to the sunrise of day 2. Sometime around 3 o'clock at night, moon shifts from 4th nakshatra to 5th nakshatra. Now we have Panchami started. But at sunrise, it will be labeled as Panchami. Till sunrise, it is Chaturthi. Now at sunrise, we have Panchami, and that Panchami ends only after the sunrise of day 3. So 2 consecutive days, day 2 and day 3, we see sun in the 5th nakshatra. We see moon in the 5th nakshatra from sun. That's why 2 days are labeled as Panchami. Necessarily when there is a Tithi Vruddhi, this particular phenomena is called as Tithi Vruddhi. Necessary when there is a Tithi Vruddhi, either before Tithi Vruddhi or after Tithi Vruddhi, we have one Tithi Kshay. In all, moon required 29.53 days to complete one rotation of Earth, considering moon and sun together. That is called as a Chandramas. So Chandramas is of 29.53. Almost one can say that 30th day is there into the counting. But that gap of 0.47 day over a month taken care of by Tithi Kshay and Tithi Vruddhi. Now, as we have Tithi Kshay and Tithi Vruddhi, there is one more interesting phenomena in Indian system of timekeeping. As we all know that year is based on sun's movement, Earth's rotation around sun. Apparently what we see, sun is moving in the sky. We can't see something behind the sun, but we can imagine what background stars are there behind the sun. So for one complete rotation of Earth around sun required some time. That time is 365 days and some odd numbers varies as we do various ways of measurement. Tropical year typically is consist of one vernal equinox to the next vernal equinox, travel of Earth around Sun. Apparently, Sun is moving in the sky. It is moving in the sky on an ecliptic, and on ecliptic there is a position, there is a point which is called as vernal equinox point, and this vernal equinox point is also moving with a definite speed, angular speed. As we know that the Earth's axis is tilted and it is pointed towards a north celestial pole, and the angle between normal axis and Earth's axis is 23.5 degree, and we know, science knows, modern science knows that this axis is making one circle, and that circle requires some 25,008 years. So 25,800 years divided by 360 leads to about 71 point some number, or 72 degrees, 72 years for 1 degree. Now you can calculate within a year how much it will move. So 1 degree is 60 minutes, and to travel 60 minutes you require 72 years. Roughly in a year it will travel 50 minutes. Now this vernal equinox will travel with that speed. That's why tropical year is one smaller one, required 365.2422 days. Moon rotates around Earth and whole system rotate around Sun. Moon's 12 orbits around Sun are close to the tropical year. Moon required 29.53 days to complete one orbit. Now 29.53 multiplied by 12 gives you 354 point something. So 355 days are the days of pure lunar calendar. Now there is a gap between lunar calendar and tropical calendar. This gap creates an issue. If we not compensate this particular gap of 11 days, then our seasons will travel through the year. There is Hijri calendar. Commonly, Muslim community follows that calendar. And in Hijri calendar, there is no such correction. Indian calendar perform a correction called as introduction of a particular month after a definite time. This month we call Adhik Mas, intercalary month. By introduction of Adhik Mas, we are keeping track with vernal equinox. As you know that Indian system New Year is on Gudi Padwa, that is Chaitra 1. Now it is dependent on moon. When Falgun Amavasya appears and when moon travels to the next constellation, next nakshatra, it will be a Chaitra 1. And that Chaitra 1 will not definitely come along with sun's position. But if you mark, if you observe carefully for past few years calendars, then you will find that Gudi Padwa is appearing sometime after 28th of March and before 15th of April. It never gone beyond 15th April. This year itself, we have Gudi Padwa on 13th April. Why on 13th April? Because last year we had one Adhik Mas. Sometime after 3 years, if you look towards the Indian Panchang, you will find that it will appear somewhere on 23rd of March or 22nd of March, maybe 21st of March, I'm not sure. But it never go back than 28th of March. It remains stable out there in the period between 28th of March to 15th of April. This is due to the introduction of Adhik Mas. Now, how Adhik Mas is decided? We know there are two ways of counting months, lunar months. One is based on Purnima and another one is based on Amavasya. Let us consider one calendar which typically Maharashtra and people below Narmada follows. Below Vindhya follows, we can say. Above Vindhya, in Uttar Pradesh or in Jammu Kashmir area or in Himachal or Punjab area, people follow a calendar with Purnimanta, and we followed Amavasya based calendar. Let us talk about Amavasya based calendar here. In 1 month, when sun and earth are together, sun and moon are together in the sky, that is a new moon day, Amavasya. From the second Amavasya, 1 lunar month is considered. And during 1 lunar month, there must be 1 transit of sun from one zodiac to another zodiac. Transit of sun from one zodiac to another zodiac to the next transit is 1 solar month. So we should have at least 1 transit every month. Sometime it happens we don't have solar transit in a particular month. We don't have solar transit in a particular lunar month. Such month is considered as Adhika Mas. Now, this is particular example which I am narrating on screen, in which there are blue arrows indicating on timeline transit or beginning of new Masa, new lunar month. Earlier, lunar month was Ashad. First blue line is a new moon day on which sun and moon together and moon moved into the next month, that is Shravan, which ends on the next blue line, Below that, we have two red arrows. The first red arrow is a transition of sun from Cancer to Leo, and second red arrow is transition of sun from Leo to Virgo. And these both transitions are happening. The first one is happening in month of Ashad, and second one is happening not in month of Shravan, but month after Shravan. So we labeled normal Shravan as Adhik Shravan, and the next month, which should be technically Bhadrapada, but we labeled it as Nija Ashwin. Nija Shravan. Because lunar months, valid lunar month, must have one solar transit. In Adhik Shravan, we don't have a solar transit. Now, a question will arise in your mind when such phenomena will happen. Such phenomena will happen after every 3 years. Or we can say this phenomena will happen in every third year. How come? Because every year lunar calendar have a deficit of 10 days, shorter of 10 days, 10, 11 days. So first year 11 days, second year's 11 days makes 22 days, and third year's 8 days naturally we required to compensate with a month. Same is explained in two different ways. In one way, we are looking at the lunar number of days of lunar year and number of days of tropical year. Lunar year is shorter by 11 days. To compensate 11 days or to make a complete month, how many years required, we can calculate by dividing 29.5 by 11. We will get one number, that 2.68. So after 2.68 years of lunar months, one lunar month is added to the correction. In another way, solar month, mean solar month, is of 30.4380 days, while lunar month is 29.53 days. Difference between them is 0.908 days. Now, almost a day, difference of a day. Now, to compensate that particular 0.908 days, how many solar month will take? So 29.53 divided by 0.908 will lead us to 32.522 months. Now 32.522 months is 2.71 years. So every third year we will get Adhik Maas. Now this Adhik Maas, interesting thing is, not one particular month will repeat all the time, because that component of 0.68 is there. That 0.68 itself indicates that is more than half year. That means more than 6 months. Around 8 months will required. Around 8 months will required. So if the first Adhik happens in Chaitra, next Adhik will happen the 8th month from Chaitra. Now next Adhik will happen from 8th month from them. That's why it rotates through the year. There is something more interesting in it. As we know that Earth is rotating around Sun in an elliptical orbit. Necessarily, Sun is located at one of the foci of ellipse. Naturally, at some time, Earth is very close to Sun, and at some other point opposite to it, Earth is far away from the Sun. Now modern science told us that when you are close to the foci or close to the Sun, your speed of travel is fast. Your speed of travel is fast. While when you are far away from Sun, your speed of travel is slow. Now, this phenomena of close to the Sun happens sometime in the beginning of January, 4 or 5th January. While far away phenomena happens sometime in month of July, 3rd July or 4th July. So naturally, around July, Earth is slow, and around January, Earth is fast. So this particular phenomena, having longer solar month, is possible around July. It is not possible at all around January. So, Indian month in January is normally Paush, sometime Margashirsh. So, either Margashirsh or Paush, mostly Paush, never turn to or never enjoy a month of Adhik. So you will not find Adhik Paush anywhere in the calendar. Against it, if you look towards the month of July, we have Ashad or Shravan. Mostly Ashad and then partly Shravan. So maximum frequency of Adhik month is of Ashad, followed by Shravan. There are pairs of months. Now Ashad and Shravan have maximum frequency. After that, Bhadrapad and Jyeshtha. After that, Ashwin and Vaishak. After that, Kartik and Chaitra. In this pairing, we have a pair Margashirsha and Paush, where you will not find much movement in the area of Adhik Mas. As we calculated Adhik Mas periodicity, similar to Adhik Mas, there is a Kshay Mas also. I am putting a slide with label Adhik Mas because I am showing you a minimum and maximum numbers or time required, minimum time required and maximum time required for solar month and lunar month. Here you can see 29 days, 10 minutes and 48 seconds. 29 days, 10 hours and 48 minutes as a minimum solar month. Compare with 29 days, 5 hours and 14 seconds is a lunar month. Shortest. But if you have a lunar month of 29 days, 10 hours and 48 minutes, a little more than that, then you have solar month is smaller. Okay. Look at the maximum. Maximum is 31 days. Here 29 days. So there is no comparison. And there is an average. And in average you will find that about one complete day is missing. Because 30 days 10 hours and 29 days 12 hours. So approximately 2 hours overlapping is there. Now this calculation of Adhik Mas for years, around 130-40 years, if you calculate Adhik Mas and correct Indian calendar accordingly, then you will come across a phenomena called as Kshay Mas. Very recently in 1962, we had Kshaya Margashirsha. 1962. Mostly out of the 10 Kshaya Masas, 9 Kshaya Masas are Paush. That's why I take an example of Paush. Out of 10, only one time Margashirsh will go as Kshaya. Now here, again, the rule for the lunar month is a month in which at least one solar transit should happen. Now, if there is a month with 2 solar transits, what we should do? A month with 2 solar transits, then what we do? Here is a scenario. See, we have Dhanu Sankranta on timeline shown by a red arrow, first red arrow towards left, and Makar Sankranta to the right, and 2 blue arrows showing beginning of month Paush and beginning of month Magh. So in Paush month, we have on the second day or the first day itself, we have Dhanu Sankranta, and followed by on last day or before one day, on 28th or 29th day of Paush month, we have Makar Sankranta. If such scenario happens, then we count Paush month completely, but we treat Paush as a Kshay, that month as a Kshay month. You will surprised to know that when there is a Kshay, one will consider that there are 11 months in a year. But no, that is not the case. That is not the case. When there is a Kshaya, there is a month, and we calculate that. We calculate the dates, but we call it as a Kshaya month. And prior to this particular month, or just after this particular month, we have one Adhik Mas. Because this possibility of having smaller solar month and bigger lunar month is very rare, and no mathematical formula can give exactness of repetition of the event. About 141 years it required to create that particular gap. Now this whole Indian calendar system is designed using ancient script called as Surya Siddhanta. Surya Siddhanta is a document which is written. We don't know when exactly it is written, but Varaha Mihir compiles that document sometime in the 6th century, along with another 4 documents called as Pancha Siddhanta. Varaha Mihir's rules and formulas leads to a calendar making. Varaha Mihir mostly talk about mean values. In Surya Siddhanta, there are 5-6 references of Shighra Gati, but Surya Siddhanta not talk much elaborately about it. Bhaskaracharya written some corrective measures, because mean values of moon or mean values of sun will give us approximate position of moon or sun in the sky. But if we observe on a particular day, then we will find that an object, in this case sun or moon, is not exactly at that particular location. It is little bit ahead or little bit before. This required a correction, and the correction is given first by Bhaskaracharya, this correction gives Spashta Gati. How much difference is there in Madhyam Gati and Spashta Gati? Do those differences are matching with modern day differences? Earlier table in which I shown the Spashta Gatis and average values. So in case of Sun, you can notice Sun is moving away about 1 day, from minimum to maximum. While Moon moves less, about 7 hours. Now 365 days required to complete 360, so about 1 degree per day, So in case of Sun's position in the sky, calculated using Madhyam Gati, may differ plus or minus 1 degree. If you calculate on the same lines for the Moon, then Moon's difference is of 7 hours. So 365 days travel, 360 degree travel Moon is doing in 29 days, and their component is of 7 hours. Naturally, Moon's position in Spashta Gati may differ more, plus or minus 6 to 7 degrees. So correction on Moon is very much required, because Moon forms the basis of Indian calendar. Tithi is based on Moon's position. So Spashta Moon is really requirement. So most of the Karana Granthas in which corrections are given are written for the Moon. Maximum work is done on the Moon. Naturally, work should be done on Sun too. But Sun's work is of a smaller size or smaller quantum than Moon's work. Most of the time, ancient Indian astronomers talk about the durations. Here is one comparative chart. This chart shows the values considered by Surya Siddhanta, or values narrated in Surya Siddhanta, values narrated in Brahmagupta Siddhanta, values narrated by Chomly, Greek astronomer, and modern day values. Now, modern day values have different units, hour, minute, and second. Ancient values which mentioned in Surya Siddhanta are Ghatika, Pale, and Vipale. We know exact conversion of Ghatika to minute. 60 Ghatikas equal to 1 day. So 15 Ghatikas or 24 minutes equal to 1 Ghatika. So 15 Ghatikas will tell you about 900 minutes. 900 minutes is about half a day. Because 600 minutes equal to 10 hours. More 300 minutes goes beyond 12 hours. The values, if you compare, then 15 Ghatikas, 11 Pale, 50 from Surya Siddhanta. Brahmagupta Siddhanta, 15 Ghatika, 30 Pales. Chomali gives 15 Ghatika and 24 Pale, while modern day science tells us 15 Ghatika, 22 Pale. So 11 and 30 Pale. 15 is common in all four. So 24 part is common in all four. Now the next division, we have variation 11 and 30. Necessarily Brahmagupta did work and got different value than the value narrated in Surya Siddhanta. More surprising is, if you look towards the moon, it is 27 days, 19 Ghatikas, 18 Pale. Brahmagupta again 27 days, 19 Ghatika, 18 Pale. Chomali to have 27 days, 19 Ghatikas, 18 Pale. While modern moon's measure is 27 days, 19 Ghatikas, and 17 Pale. 17 Pale and 58 Vipales. Now, the difference is about 2 to 4 Vipales, which is very tiny, very small difference. Naturally, measurements of moon were taken very carefully even at the time of Surya Siddhanta or during periods of Brahmagupta. Now here we have Chandrocha. Now this Chandrocha is a period. That period is for the calculation of slow value and fast values for moon. There is a Rahu period. Rahu period differs by 4 days. Rahu is an identity, imaginary in the sky, where 2 orbits are intersecting, moon's orbit and Earth's orbit around sun. We, Surya Siddhanta, talk about Buddha. It talks about Venus also, it talks about Mars also, it talks about Jupiter and Saturn also. Only difference you will find in case of Saturn, that difference is of 6 days. Rest all, there is no difference in number of days. And very small difference in Ghatikas. Very small difference in Ghatikas. So, with primitive measuring instruments like Ghatika Patra and Chaya Shanku, and some more which will come in the next lecture, using such primitive instruments, people calculated these values. Surya Siddhanta, a written version of Surya Siddhanta is available only after 6th century. Prior to that, it was Maukik. Brahmagupta's work is available in a written form, in scripted form, and that too around 7th or 8th century. So in 7th or 8th century, if these minor corrections were carried out, what kind of observational power and observational mechanisms those people used must be a subject of research. For the entire course and these lectures, these are the reference books. The first book is of 1823. I specifically mentioned the years. Second one, 1827. And if you look the books, the second book is Miscellaneous Essays. This man Colebrooke actually criticized the first book. The first book is a historical view of Hindu astronomy. Second one is an essay which criticizes that, but that criticism have more work than the book. Third book is Surya Siddhanta's modern day translation. That is to 1860. Fourth book is Hindu Astronomy, that is 1872. And finally one book in Marathi, भारतीय ज्योतिषशास्त्र, भारतीय ज्योतिषशास्त्राचा प्राचीन आणि अर्वाचीन इतिहास by Shambha Dikshit. This book is written in 3 years' time, 1890 to 1893. I think I mentioned yesterday that on Panchanga there are various correction Karan Granthas were written by various people. This work was carried out periodically. After each around 400 years, there is a necessity of revamping the calculations. Present Panchanga Kartas use the last correction carried out by Ganesh Devadnya, a Maharashtrian, typically lived somewhere close to Alibag, carried out correction in 14th century. And that correction is applied by every Panchanga Kartas, Panchanga makers across India. Necessary corrections required were foresighted by some great peoples of late 19th century. One of them is Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Another one was Venkoji Bapu Ketkar. One more is Kairo Panta, and many more. Incidentally, their debates happened in this very much city, Pune. But whatever they debated in late 19th century, around 1890 to 1895, a chunk of people not come to a conclusion, and that's why acceptable Panchanga correction was not happened after 1530. Today we are using same 1530 corrections, and we are using Nirayan Panchanga, in which vernal equinox point is fixed, not moving. Present vernal equinox point is trailed back. We are somewhere looking at Zeta Pisces star as a first point of Aries, a starting point or a point where vernal equinox is supposed to be, but actual vernal equinox trailed beyond Revati, some 21-22 degrees into zodiac of Pisces. But still that Panchang work beautifully. This is all about Indian Panchang. I not touched upon topics like planetary motions and retro motions and atichar and terms like drutagati. I not touched because of the time. Thank you.